easy it is to remove a cable from a single screw cage clamp like the type you'll find on many 100 amp isolators. Then we'll compare that to this 100 amp isolator from Whitecliffe, which uses 2 screws. What's interesting here is that the terminal design is still based around a cage clamp, but with 2 separate cage clamps in each terminal rather than just one. For contrast, we'll also test a single screw traditional style brass terminal found in this Whitecliffe switch fuse, the sort of connection you'll often see installed inside meter boxes. To keep things consistent, all tests will use the same 25 square millimeters meter tails. For the cage clamp tests, we'll use both 19 core and 7 core variants. The terminals that do have a torque setting will be tightened exactly to the manufacturer's recommended torque. The single screw brass terminal doesn't have a torque setting, so we're tightening that squeaky tight. And yes, you can roast me in the comments. Now let's do the waggle test. We're going to move the tail side to side and see how easy it is to work the conductor loose from the terminal. And you can see on the single screw cage clamp, just a few movements and the terminal starts to loosen up. Now compare that with the double screw terminal, and you can see it's almost impossible to get that terminal to loosen in the same way. It's a similar story with the single screw brass terminal as well. And interestingly, it doesn't make much difference whether we use the 7 strand or the 19 core 25 square millimeters meter tail. The behavior is broadly the same. So just to keep those folks happy, let's repeat the test on the single screw cage clamp, but this time we'll go beyond the torque setting and take it to squeaky tight. Of course, the regulations don't mention torque settings specifically. They simply state that manufacturer's instructions should be taken into account. But you'll notice these days that more and more consumer units and protective devices are actually marked with a torque value. Right, so how do the wiring regulations actually deal with this problem? If we turn to BS 7671, regulation 522.8.5 states, every cable or conductor should be supported in such a way that it is not exposed to undue mechanical strain, and so that there is no appreciable mechanical strain on the terminations of the conductors, account being taken of mechanical strain imposed by the supported weight of the cable or conductor itself. And there's also an additional note that makes it very clear what they're getting at. Consumer unit tails are included in the requirements of this regulation. We take that note as a big underline that this is a known problem. So how do you deal with it? Well, we've demonstrated that double screw devices are more robust than a single screw cage clamp, especially when you're working with meter tails in the confined space of a meter box where cables can easily get knocked. In consumer units, we're also seeing more manufacturers moving over to double screw main switches.